Welcome back to the Nikki Clarke Radio Show on wearehotline.net, the show that's about transforming lives one story at a time. And we've got a fantastic individual on the line with us today. He is an author. He's a motivational speaker. He came on our live taping show and just wowed everybody with his spoken word. Please welcome Keith Hill Jr. to the show. How you doing today?
I'm great. I'm very great. How are you?
I'm really highly favored and blessed, and I'm so happy that you're on the show with us today. There's so many people who come to the show, and the live taping, and they don't know what really it's all about. And when you came and you embraced it, it was just an honor for me to have you there. So thank you so much for taking that moment and bringing it to this moment right now.
Thank you so much also. And it's so funny because that moment in terms of me stepping up on that stage and doing my performance piece led to this moment, and the story in between me deciding to go on the stage and us having this talk right now, it just exemplifies everything that I stand for and what I'm trying to promote.
Beautiful, beautiful. Okay, well, let's talk about that. So let's get into the background of what you've done to lead to where you are today.
Well, the background is simple. I've just done some self-assessment in terms of looking deep within myself to say, how could I better myself? Well, as a man of God, we're called to ultimately just be our best versions of ourselves, and not to be perfect, but to grow. So I had to just dig deep within myself and see how could I become the better version of Keith than I was yesteryear and previous years and so on and so forth. And I just discovered a couple of things, and that was to increase my courage and to increase my self-discipline. So I just dug deep and started being real with myself, because you could lie to people, you could lie to whomever, but you can't lie to yourself and you can't lie to God. So I had to be real with myself and real with God ultimately, and just uncover those areas of lack, and then just start to focus on developing them.
Okay, amazing. So this led to the book that you have coming up, is that right? Or you
Absolutely.
have it out right now? Yeah.
Yeah, it's just been released this week, and the reception has been incredible. I'm excited about it, and it's opening new doors, and I mean that literally and figuratively, because, like I said, it's all about the self-assessment. So the doors that it's opening for myself in terms of just, a greater awareness and a greater confirmation. It's been a great journey. It's only been, I don't know if it's even a week, but it's been a good journey so far.
Okay, so what's the name of the book, and tell us a little bit about it.
It's called Fighting Fear and Doing Discipline. I think the title pretty much exemplifies what it's about, but just in a nutshell, it's about uncovering what it is to be someone of courage, and ultimately what it takes to become a person of greater courage. And then secondly, the same applies when it comes to being a person of discipline, and how to be a person of greater self-discipline. And why those two things are go together is what I found is that in being a person of courage and a person of greater discipline, it just opens so many doors, and it excels you to be a person of success. And by success, I don't necessarily mean monetarily success, even though it could equate to monetary success, but it could be success in your marriage, in your relationship. It could be success in your studies at school. It could be success as an athlete. It could be success in any walk of life where you find important. If you just have the courage to go forth and be ambitious for something, and then the self-discipline to go forth and do it the way that you know it has to be done, then it just, I've found for myself and through the studies that I've done, which I've detailed in the book, it leads to success.
Okay, fantastic. Now, there's a lot of mention these days about fear. I think fear is paralyzing many people around the world, and that's not hard to run from, because as soon as you turn on the TV, you see images that can provoke fear, or you turn on the radio, anywhere on social media, there are images, there are stories, sounds that invoke fear. So what I know as my own, when I'm making my own walk with God, that fear is not of God at all. Fear is opposite of faith.
Absolutely.
So I think what we need to do, and what you're doing in your book, is that you're redirecting people to understand that they are more powerful than they are, and that faith is really what they need to step into to navigate through this thing we call life. Would you agree?
Absolutely. And one of the most incredible things that I found out in my research, which also I've highlighted in the book, is that we're not born with fear. Fear is something that is learned. The only two fears that we have at birth is the fear of falling and the fear of loud noises. Every other fear is a learned mindset. And the second thing is that, as you mentioned, everywhere that we look, fearful images and verbiage and just propaganda is being spewed all over, whether it's the media, whether it's watching, particularly American politics. It's everywhere, and it's because people in higher places understand the psychology of it. If you have somebody in a fearful state of mind, they're debilitated, and they're just looking for help. And once they look for the help, then you come along and you're in control, because fear is a controlling mechanism. So if you have somebody afraid and they're ill-prepared to deal with what they're afraid of, then they're just running to you for help. And then once they're running for you to help, it's a form of control. And one of the things I highlight is that it's something that you should be in control of, because even subconsciously, when you're afraid or when you're fearful of something, that thing is now in control of you. So it's a matter of regaining control of yourself and, by essence, regaining control over that fear.
Okay. Now, speaking to the discipline part of the elements of your book, how did you approach that? What lessons were you trying to teach in the book?
Well, it's an overarching lesson, which is just be a better version of yourself. But specifically, it was about the steps to take you there, to that better version. So when it came to this discipline, it was more about, okay, you're courageous, you're bold, you're fearless, and you want to go run and do whatever it is that you want to do. But then sometimes people run and do what they want to do and still fail. So it was like there has to be another element to it, because just being brave alone doesn't put you in a successful position in life. Just being courageous alone doesn't mean you do smart things. It could mean you're courageous about something that's stupid, or you just do something the wrong way. So when I found the next element to support that comes next to success, to the fearlessness, it revealed to me that it was self-discipline. So you're courageous in doing whatever it is that you have set out to do, and then you find the information to succeed at whatever it may be, but then now you have to be disciplined in order to execute, because sometimes we could be courageous to do something, but we don't do it, or we could be courageous to do something, but we don't do it the right way, or we don't even see it all the way through. Bravery alone is not sufficient enough to take you to the finish line. It's just to get you started.
Okay, all right. I really like that. So,
can I just say, sorry, can I just, before, because it's something that I'm dying to jump in and say, which is about how we got here. And that's the part about when we met at your show, because when we met at your show, I was there just supporting a friend, and ultimately you had said, if there's anybody out there who has a talent that wants to do anything at halftime, feel free, whether it's a poem, a spoken word, or anything. And I sat there quiet in the background, didn't know anybody but the one person in the room, and I wanted to do my piece. I'm proud of it. I know it. I've done it before, but the jitters were inside of me, and I was like, nah.
Really? It didn't show. Well,
that's the thing. It's not supposed to show, because at the end of the day, I've overcome it, but I'm just explaining the process. So it does. So it's not about eradicating fear. It's about being control over it. So in other words, it was there, but I was in control. So when I was there and I was jittery about doing it, and then I just reminded myself, come on, you just wrote this book. You're supposed to be representing this thing. And then when I stood up and I did it in spite of the fear, because again, the fear is not about, it's not about getting rid of it. It's just about doing it, feeling the fear and doing it anyways. But the point is that stepping up on that stage and doing what I did, ultimately led to meeting you, ultimately led to meeting a couple other people in that room, ultimately led to having this conversation we're having. And it's just further confirmation that once you overcome fear, there's a whole new world of opportunities and doors that open themselves to you if you're so bold enough to step through it.
Absolutely. Wow. And, serendipity is around us all the time, but it's like what you said, it's about just stepping out of that comfort zone and just, being brave and just going for it. And you know what, like, I have to admit, like, even when I go up to speak, even though I do it so regularly, and I do have those butterflies that, start circulating in my stomach, and it's like, oh wow, why do I still have this? But in a way, it's confirmation that I care about how I present myself. I care about what, things are going to unfold, how it's going to manifest itself. But yes, then I have to get to that place where I need to quiet those movements and just say, yeah, I'm going for it, and dealing with the jitters or the fear or the anxiety that shows up. So you're
feel
absolutely
the fear
right.
And do it anyways.
And do it anyway, yeah, absolutely. So the book has been out for a week, and where is it right now? Where can people purchase it?
It's on Amazon, and we just hit, as of yesterday, the number 2 on the bestseller list
for
professional growth, Christian professional growth. So, it's a huge accomplishment, one that I'm proud of. But you could definitely get it on the Amazon.com, or you could get it through my website, KeithHillJr.com.
Congratulations. So I'm really happy everything has aligned the way that it has, and I know that God has his hands in it. But can you just tell us, how has your life been transformed by, following these steps that you've taken?
It's transformed in so many ways. Like it just feels like another level of awareness has been awoken within me. So, well, let me just use an analogy. One of the stories, I've interviewed a couple people, and one of the people I've interviewed for my book, which is also highlighted in there, is a friend of mine who appeared on Oprah, and she appeared on an MTV show, and she was explaining she has all this success in the tangible successes that we could see in real life. And she had said that when she first started her career as a personal trainer for television, that she felt like she wasn't adequately prepared for whatever reason. But then when she got over that self-doubt and ultimately that fear, she felt like a childlike courage. And, long story short, it's a similar position that I'm in now. It's like there's a childlike courage, there's a childlike sense of competency, because, as children, sometimes we don't recognize the danger, and sometimes we don't acknowledge the danger, and we just step out courageously, other than those 2 fears, like I said, with falling and loud noises. But you see kids playing in the park, taking chances, taking risks, doing all types of things. So it's that level of courage that I feel like, I found, and it's translated in my business, it's translated in my personal life, it's translated in this movement that I'm putting forth through this book. And then, like I said, I always, fear gets a lot of coverage, but it's not only the courage, it's not only the fearlessness. The self-discipline aspect is even more important than the courage. Because as an analogy, I wrote in the book that courage is like the first runner in a 4x100 relay race. Its job is to just explode off the blocks, just get going and get a good head start. But then talent is the next runner, which is just yourself, your own personal abilities that you were blessed with. And then knowledge has to be the third runner, which is what you have to acquire. But the one who takes it across the finish line, the Usain Bolt of the whole equation, is self-discipline. Self-discipline is supposed to be the strongest runner, the one who can make up for any lack of talent, the one who can make up for any lack of knowledge, and that could even make up for any shortcomings that maybe courage has. But self-discipline is the one that has to be the strongest one, because that's the one that ultimately takes it across the finish line when it comes to success in whatever it is that you consider success to be for you.
Fantastic. Wow. That's just amazing. And I'm really, really thankful that, you're able to put this together in this beautiful expression that you've compiled in this book. So it's a wonderful legacy that you're going to be passing on for many years to come. So I just want to thank you very much for taking the time out. We appreciate it, and looking forward to having you back on the stage to share more about what you're doing in the book and all the other accomplishments that's coming up in the distant future. So, Keith, thank you very much, and I will see you very, very soon. You have a beautiful day.
Thank you so much. I just want to remind your listeners that KeithHillJr.com is where they can get more information about the book. That's JR, not the forward junior, just KeithHillJr.com. Thank you so much, Nikki.
Oh, you're more than welcome. Yes, you have a fabulous day, and we're going to hear more about Keith Hill Jr. Very soon. Take care.
Thank you. Bless. Bye.
You're welcome. Bye-bye now.